Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here today. We are going to be decorating, and I'm going to be sharing some of my top tips when it comes to styling and decorating a space, specifically if you are on a tight budget. However, if you're not, or maybe if you just moved into a space and you just don't know where to begin, hopefully these tips will help you kind of get started and start making your space feel beautiful and like home in no time. So we're gonna jump in, but really quick, if you happen to be new here, thank you so much for stopping by. First of all, I really am grateful that you're here. I'm Carrie Lynn. I do share DIYs, budget-friendly home updates, vlogs, chatty videos, you name it, I have it here. So if you are interested in any of that, make sure you hit that red subscribe button before you head out. But we're gonna jump right into the first and the easiest way to start with a space, and that is cleaning and organizing. You probably already know I was gonna say that. Seems pretty simple, right? But the truth is, a clean space is better than a decorated one. There is no point in spending money on decor or going through the whole process of decorating to just showcase dust and clutter. You're not gonna get to see and get the look that you want if it's not clean first. So I highly recommend clearing the space out, and this is also a great way to get a fresh new set of eyes on your room. Let's say, for instance, your living room has looked the same way for the past 5 years. Let's take everything out if you can, and start cleaning top to bottom. We're gonna dust, we're gonna scrub the walls down, the baseboards, we're gonna pull the rugs up if we can, wash those, get the shampooer out for the carpet, take the curtains down, go throw those in the wash. Simple things like this make a world of a difference. I can assure you, it doesn't take much effort at all. If you really if you put your mind to something, you can get it done in a day, guarantee it. So let's start focusing on clearing the space out, get it nice and clean, and then we will start styling. My second tip is going to be to change out the lighting. If you can, turn off those overhead lights, get you some good lamps, something that looks really cool. Bring in that warm lighting. It's number one gonna make your space feel cozy, but it's also gonna bring some character. There are so many different cool lamps that you can purchase that really represent your style. So if you really like modern or organic, or maybe you like more of an antique style, there is a lamp for everybody. And I actually just picked up this lamp from Walmart. I love the look of it. I feel like it gives kind of old school but also modern at the same time, and I think it works well with my space, so I ended up picking this one up. I wanted something that was going to give some height to this side of the room because I do have the tall built-ins, so I think kind of creating a little balance right there is really cool. And I don't ever use our overhead lights. I always use the lamps in the living room, and this one will now put off enough light to just leave that on and not ever have to use the overhead lights again. Now I'm going to play around with the layout of the living room quite a bit throughout this video. You'll see I moved it around, trying different layouts with the new lamp. I love the lamp so much. I like how tall it is, and it just, I don't know what it is about it, but I really like it. And I think it's because I've wanted one for so long, and I waited to make sure that it's actually what I wanted before I actually purchased it. Oh, and by the way, I found it one cheaper on Amazon than the one that I got from Walmart. So that is the one I'll have linked. Also, if you happen to be new here to my channel, the reason I'm not scooting the couch back all the way to that wall, that's because we have our HVAC cabinet there. We actually used our old barn door and cut a hole at the bottom to put the vent there. So the couch can either be floating here, or it can be turned facing the TV and the built-ins right to where the door is. So either way, I'm limited on the layout. I've shared many videos talking about the layout of my living room. I'll actually link those down below if you are interested in seeing how we have styled and fixed up our space to make it work. This is a 1,200 square foot home, by the way. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the actual house, I feel like when you walk in, it doesn't feel super tight. Typically a 1,200 square foot home is really small. Some apartments are even bigger than that. However, the layout of ours, I feel does give it the appearance that it's a little bit larger because it's all open concept. But fun fact, I actually prefer not to have open concept. I wish that we could buy the house that we used to live in, whenever we rented, when Dylan and I first moved into a nice place. We got out of our little 1-bedroom apartment. We moved into a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and I'm pretty sure this house was haunted, but it was really cool. Looking back, there was things about the house that I didn't love, like the smell. It definitely had an old house smell. but it was just so awesome the way that it was laid out. And I think oh man, what I would give to be able to renovate that space. But honestly, that's a story for another day. Let's go back to talking about lamps and what a difference they can make for your space. I know a lot of you are more visual people, so I wanted to show you an example of what a lamp can do for a space. So here I'm going to show you a room that just has a couch, a coffee table, maybe a rug, maybe a couple of pieces of decor, but no lamps, okay? And now we're gonna throw a lamp in here and look at how much better the space looks. You cannot tell me that this does not look so much more sophisticated and cozy. So this is just a great example to give you a visual of what it looks like before and after adding lighting. Next, we're going to talk about window treatment. So this is number 3 on my list, but this is a big one. And the number one mistake I see a lot of people make, or if they send me, their homes and want advice, I see this time and time again. Window treatments hung too low. So your curtains are just above the top of the window, or maybe they're just over the window. I am always going to recommend that you hang them high and wide. We're going to make that window look wider and taller. You want to draw your eye up. You're gonna wanna make sure you get longer curtains. Most curtains from like Walmart, Amazon, the standard size I think is like 83 inches. Go with like 90 to 96. Get higher if you can, as big as you can. And there's only a couple dollars more. It's worth it. It is worth it. This will make a big difference in your overall look. I recommend using blackout curtains if possible. To me, they look a little bit more high end. You gotta find the right ones though. Don't get the crispy ones that kind of look like plastic material. Get the linen blackout curtains, or linen look is what you're gonna look for on Amazon. This gives you that luxurious feel and look, and they hang really beautifully, like these back here. Those are from Amazon. I can link them if you're interested. And they're a beautiful taupe color too, so they go well with any style that I put in my house. We are going to decorate with what we have now. We're gonna go ahead and pull out all of our decor stash, everything that we pulled off the shelves earlier before we cleaned. Now we're gonna start decorating. So you're gonna look at everything you have and start kind of combining things together. I always recommend decorating in threes if you can. I know I don't always do this myself. I'm more of like a clean minimalist look, but if you are kind of stumped on styling, 3 to 4 things grouped together looks sometimes better than just having one simple thing. So I would say pull everything out to a table and start color coordinating stuff together. So you have all of your vases that are kind of like maybe the ceramic beige, gray, toned stone looks. Now you're gonna have all of your greenery in one pile. Then you're gonna have all of your colorful items in another pile. Pull one from each section and put it together. You have 3 things now that you can style on a coffee table, a bookshelf. This is just an easy way, a little hack that I used to use to help me style a space when I was stumped. I have some really great advice for you. This is something I've never heard anybody ever mention, but I think this is a great way to save money and also make sure that you're purchasing things that are going to coordinate with your space. So if you are not on social media, or maybe you don't share your home with others, you probably do not have photos of your home in your phone. I'm going to encourage you today to go around and snap pictures of whatever room that you're trying to fix up or style, whether it's the bathroom, bedroom, or living room. Now, whenever you're out shopping, you can refer back to that photo album to make sure that the pieces that you are seem to be drawn to in the store are actually going to coordinate with the things you already have or the overall look and feel of your space. There's a lot of times where I'm out shopping and I'll see something displayed real cute on a shelf and I'm like, oh, I love that. I love the way it looks on the shelf. But then you bring it home and it just doesn't work with your space. I bet if you had a photo to look at, you would have already known that and you would have then saved your time and your money. So definitely always refer back to photos if you can. And also, I think it's like really common for us to be drawn to things that we really like and we don't realize that we're buying the same thing, maybe with a slightly different like shape or color, but it's the same thing that we tend to buy over and over again. I'm really bad about this when it comes to like ceramic vases. I have a collection, but I love them and it is something I style with a lot. So a lot of times I'll look at my like photo stash to see, do I already have something close enough to this where I can save my money here and put that money towards something else? So that is always a great tip to make sure you're using what you have, take photos of what you have so that way you know when you're at the store shopping so you don't forget. At this point, I'm styling a little bit. I'm going to share just a little touch of decorating. We're going to add a new rug, and we're actually going to switch the coffee table out. But while I was doing this, I did want to share a little backstory on the coffee table in here. So I've shared it a few times, but I did get this from a thrift store for $10. And that is proof that you can find really great pieces for your house that are so affordable. You just have to hunt for them. And it has taken me years to accumulate good deals. It's not like I go into a thrift store every day and find something cool. Sometimes I go and I don't buy anything at all, but this is just one of those pieces that I absolutely love. It does lift up into a higher table so you can eat there. I edit a lot at this table. And I love it in my living room because we do have a smaller house, so it does give us additional eating space if we have company over. But it is a little chunky to be in here with the couch facing this way, so I will switch out for the round coffee table in a moment, but right now we're going to work on the rug. Now this rug is from Amazon. I do recommend it, but I'm going to tell you a couple things about it before you run off and purchase it. Number one, it's very thin and it does feel great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great fabric in my opinion. I love the colors, the look. It is just so thin that whenever you vacuum it, it can sometimes suck up into the vacuum. I have to have my vacuum on the like bare floor setting or like the low setting, depending on which vacuum I'm using. And even then, it still sucks it up a little bit. It's actually better to sweep this rug, which is kind of funny. But if you have dogs that shed a ton, I might skip over this one now that I've had it for a long time and I can actually say that I prefer to sweep it just because it does, I don't know, it just doesn't vacuum well. It does wash well though. I have put it in my wash machine a few times, and the way that I do that is I flip it over face down and then I fold it into like a hot dog shape. And then I just like wrap it around the agitator, and this is the only thing I wash when I do that, and I put it on a heavy load obviously, but keep in mind that it is very heavy and I'm not sure if every washing machine is compatible to handle a rug of this size, but that's one of the reasons why I keep to like smaller size rugs and I don't do like the huge 8x10 because we gotta wash rugs around here. I got dogs. And I mean, you can shampoo it, I'm assuming, or spray it with a hose too, but the washing machine just does a better job. But anyway, now bringing in my DIY coffee table. I never stain the bottom of this, but if you want to see a video, it'll be linked, but watch what happens when I don't wait for help. I did get it in place though, so I'm proud of that. I did end up, by the way, I built this coffee table out of like a little end table and then added a round top. I'll link that video below, but I left the door in there so we could hide stuff in there, like for storage, blankets, pillows, things like that, and it's been great to have extra storage. I then just styled the table the same way I styled the rectangle one, but you can see now, look how much bigger the living room looks with the right, size coffee table. This coffee table is a little tall. I don't mind it because once again we can eat at it and it's nice to have it at a good height, but if it was up to me I would cut it down. It'll just ruin the cabinet underneath, so that's why I haven't done that. And could I go out and buy a new coffee table that's probably a little bit more aesthetically pleasing that might fit the space better? Sure, but what's the fun in that? I personally love DIYs and repurposing things, using what I have to make it work. That is what makes my home, I feel, unique and special. If you are just constantly buying whatever's new and just trending, it's going to look like everybody else's house. So I think that's where the uniqueness comes in when you start, getting creative. So I'm just going to totally encourage you guys, use what you have before you go out and buy anything new. And don't forget to shop secondhand. Not only is it saving our planet, but it's also going to save your money. Save your money. But obviously look at the good, stores. I know some thrift stores are getting a little pricey, but if you can shop Facebook Marketplace, I have found that like the Lighthouse Ministries is one of the more affordable thrift stores, and just find out like other local mom and pop thrift stores. Those are also really great to shop, and they also still negotiate. Goodwill, Lighthouse Ministries, places like that, they do not negotiate prices. So I love a good mom and pop thrift store because that's where the good deals are. Talked about cleaning and organizing. We've talked about lighting, window treatments, and using the decor that we have for our surfaces. But what are we going to do with the walls? This is probably one of the hardest ways to decorate, in my opinion. I have had plenty of instances where I've had a large wall and I'm like, what do I put here? And you just kind of stand back and look at it. My biggest advice, hop on Pinterest and look for inspiration. I would get on there and I would type in something like dining room wall inspiration, or wall decor for living room, wall decor for bathroom. And as you're scrolling through, I'm going to recommend 3 to 4 photos. So whatever 3 photos really caught your eye, pin those into a board, and now go back and look at all 4 of those together in that board that you just made. What was it? What was the most liked thing out of all those photos? Was it the wall trim that they put up? Was it a cool lighting sconce that they had? Was it the family photo that of the child smiling or the family smiling that brought back memories? Or could it have been the art that really just made you want to know more about it? Or like, where did they get that? It's so stunning. Now you know what to decorate your space with. So now it's just figuring out where to get it. Large wall scale art, highly recommend looking on like Facebook Marketplace. Thrift stores are really great for large scale art that are not going to cost you an arm and a leg. You can even buy large scale art and repaint it yourself. I have videos on that if you're interested. I'll also have those linked down below. Sconces, you can find those on Amazon. You can find trim at Lowe's. I've shared videos on that as well. Gallery walls can be a little tricky, but you can never go wrong with black and white matted photo frames that you just put together as a collage, a simple, square, symmetrical collage. Always a foolproof way. But if you like eclectic style, I'm gonna recommend that you really dive into your personality, find the colors, the shapes, the frames that really just make you feel good. Lay them all out on the floor and play around with different shapes and sizes and styles. And once you figure out a really good layout that you have now on the floor, simply put that on the wall and call it a day. Number one, your space is gonna be the most unique space on the block. And you're gonna also feel cozy and warm when you look at it. It's gonna feel like it's your specific space, not someone's that you copied off the internet. So I really love collage walls. I would love to create more of those if I had more space in our house, but I don't have a whole lot of wall space. We have a lot of windows here, and the one wall that I do have, I did put some trim work up in the mirrors. Mirrors are great too for spaces. If you just maybe don't really like any collage walls, hang a mirror. You can't go wrong with bouncing some natural light around, in my opinion. All right, y'all, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the decorate with me and the tips and tricks that I shared. I do have so many other tips and tricks that I would love to share with you. So if you enjoyed this type of video, give it a thumbs up so I know to start creating more of these. And I recently announced that I am going to start helping you decorate and style your spaces, and I'll have all the info for that down below in case you are interested in submitting photos to be featured in an upcoming video, which I think is going to be really fun to start doing that. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, y'all.